Well, this video might be a little more controversial than usual, but people are usually receptive to my discussions in general, so I guess we'll see. I'm just, hoping that nobody takes this the wrong way, but, let's get into this before I start rambling on for too much longer. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Britton here, also known as Some Okie Dude, and I'm here today with another discussion about the topic of escapism. So, I guess I should get into it before I start rambling on for too long, so let's just get to it. So, I watched a video from Mike of Mike's Book Reviews the other day, where he was talking about his disillusionment with modern fantasy, as we know and love it today, and it got me thinking about a lot of stuff. I don't generally... I'm really bad at keeping up with Mike's videos, and I don't generally watch his videos as much because, I respect him. I got nothing against him. It's just, I think our views of reading are very different. What we read for is very different. And this video, I felt kind of really exemplified that for me. And there's also been talk of men not reading as much anymore, and people are saying it's all Romanacy's fault. But I'm not here to talk about that because, hell, I don't even want to make a video about that because I don't really think I have anything interesting to contribute to that conversation. And to be honest, I think it's kind of a bad faith discussion, but I digress. I won't get into it. Before I really get into the meat of this discussion, I just want to get some things out of the way. For one thing, I am not at all trying to refute what Mike is saying in his video. There's nothing wrong with his video. As far as I'm sure, I'm sure there's people who are probably not going to like that video anyway, but I'm not saying I have any problems with the video. I am just saying that he made a video that inspired this video, and it's gotten me thinking recently. So, just to get that out of the way, I also don't want people getting the wrong idea here. I'm not trying to refute Mike. I'm not trying to say Mike is wrong, because, he was just talking about stuff that he was feeling. I can't really argue against opinions. That's his opinion at the end of the day. But this video really got me really thinking about a lot of stuff. And I'm also, on the second hand, I am trying not to tell any of you, I'm not attempting to tell any of you how to read or consume media. These are only observations that I have had on the subject. Third is, like I said before, this video might come off as a bit more blunt and critical than usual. I will try to tone down as much as I can, but I make no promises here. While I'm generally honest in my videos, I generally try to not say anything that sounds dismissive or arrogant by any means, because I understand a lot of people can misread things and, not fully understand what I'm getting at. And also, at times, I have also, to pass the buck to myself, I have also made videos where I find that I didn't explain myself in the way that I would have liked to. I think I could have done better. There's a few videos I could probably think of, but I digress. And also, I generally do that because I generally try to understand how other people think, and I try to respect that as much as I can, even if I personally disagree with how said other people think, even if I vehemently disagree with how those other people think. I'm gonna still be practicing that here, but then again, like I said, this video might come off as more blunt than usual. You have been warned. So, when I watched Mike's video, I remember him saying something to the effect that he doesn't want the real world to interfere in his escapism. And that's me paraphrasing, by the way. I don't know if that's I don't recall if that's the exact quote, but that's about the gist of what he said. And, when I heard that, it got me really thinking about that old word of escapism and what it actually means. Escapism is a bit of a loaded term in our sphere, I should say. Often it's used to dismiss science fiction and fantasy stuff. Any kind of imaginative fiction is frivolous or silly, which, obviously that is not the case at all. Yet at the same time, I can kind of see what some people mean when they get irritated at readers who seem content to throw themselves in the books without really thinking about what they're reading. And I have definitely noticed that trend. Not only on BookTube, but I've also noticed it on, Goodreads and other websites that I've noticed that talk about books or any kind of media for that matter. Because so often I see people who are content to sell themselves short, to stick to their lane, if you will, and not seek to challenge themselves as consumers. Which, I should note, nothing wrong with having a particular taste before people get mad at me for that. I'm just saying that there are some people who seem rather averse to challenging themselves, and that isn't always fun. But I want to be entertained, one might say. I don't want every book I read to be a profound and deeply probing look into our world. And I get that. I'm not saying it's bad to read for merely for entertainment. I mean, that's kind of what we read and consume media for in the first place. I mean, that's totally fine. I'm not saying that's wrong. And I totally understand that people's tastes are different than mine, and that's their right to like or dislike whatever they want. But the point I'm trying to get at here is I am not content to be merely entertained. And I'm often frustrated by the people who are and then get upset when they find a book that doesn't quite explicitly do that for them. Because I don't want to be merely entertained by a book, even though that's one of the many reasons I read. I want to be probed. I want to be challenged. I want to be taken off guard. I've said it before. I like to challenge my limits as a reader. I don't like to, dismiss things out of hand. Now, I mean, there are some books I am more hesitant to read than others. There are more comics I am more hesitant to read than others. But generally, I try to read as much as I can. And I'm often disappointed by people who shirk from being challenged or taken off guard. Even people I respect. I mean, it really sucks because many of my favorite books or comics are the ones that have made me uncomfortable, have shocked me, have taken me off guard with its content or its view of the world. But instead of shirking away or dismissing the book out of hand, I feel emboldened, empowered even. But it's disheartening when I see people who slink away in discomfort when they read or see something that makes them uneasy. I mean, hell, it's even worse when you see people who complain about media who had the audacity to try and make them think about the world in a different way. You know who you are if you're watching this, or I doubt they're watching this. They probably don't have interest in what I'm saying. I can't tell you how many times I've seen ignorant video and article after ignorant video and article that have bashed pieces of media that had differing views from the creators of the content that are making the content about them complaining and whatnot. They complain about people shoving their views down their throat and interfering with their escapism. Not interviewing, what am I doing? Not seeming to have any curiosity about why the media they complain about might have that view. To me, it just kind of speaks to a complete lack of self-awareness and kind of a selfishness on that part, because they demand that the media that they consume should conform to their taste, and anything that's different or strays from that is just bad, without giving really any insight on why said piece is bad. Ed. I mean, I could go on and on about what that's about. It could be really frustrating. But for me, storytelling anyway, at least for me, is not merely entertainment, as I said before. It's an exercise in empathy. Storytelling gives you the ability to see things from other people's perspectives. It shows you people who you could be and those who you hope you never be. And that's the magic of storytelling. You're exposed to new ideas and ways to think about the world that you might not have ever believed was possible. It can be a hard and difficult thing. I mean, believe me, I have read some books that have stumped me in my time. I mean, I'm always told by people on how big of a reader I am and how wide of a reader I am. But hey, guys, I have my limits. There are some books I have read that I just don't freaking get. And there are some books out there that don't connect with me either. And like I said, that is totally fine if there are books out there that just don't connect with you. That is not what I'm talking about here today. But what I find, though, with escapism is I don't think escapism is enough. Being entertained is not enough. They can be really good. You could be offered meaningful escape in a story. I mean, J.R.R. Tolkien said a lot about who is concerned about escape, jailers. Again, heavy paraphrasing there. And again, there's nothing particularly wrong with wanting to be entertained by a good story. But in like part, I do think that a good story can also be very insightful and make you think and make you connect to the world and our world at the same time. I mean, really what I think when I get to this conversation, and generally the advice I try to give to people who do this type of content, even though I am a humble YouTuber of only about 600 subscribers, which, by the way, thank you for the 600 subscribers. Anyway, the thing I often tell people is to think about what you consume and to think about what it means, because it's not enough to read a book and say, oh, it's good or oh, it sucks. Think about what the book is saying. Think about what the book is trying to convey. It is not enough to merely say if it's good or bad if you don't have the language to explain why it's good and bad. Because consuming art is not meant to merely distract us from our world, but to bring us closer to it. I guess what I'm trying to get at with this video is to don't settle for less when you consume. Take as much as you get when you consume a piece of media, because I can tell you right now, not every author or writer or creator is going to be playing on the same field as you. You're going to have to meet them at their level from time to time. We not only become better readers by doing this, but we also become better people overall. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm actually hoping to make a kind of second part to this video where I talk about political commentary and social commentary in videos, but that's definitely one. I'm gonna put this out and see how people react to it, and if they like this video, which hopefully you guys do, I will make that video, because that is something I've been thinking about for a long time now, and I do think I could make a good video talking about it, because I generally think a lot of people get things wrong when they talk about political and social commentary. But anyway, I'm getting far off into another subject. But this video is strictly about escapism and what I, generally, why I find that escapism isn't enough when it comes to creating a great reading experience for me. Though I do read to get enraptured in a good story. Like I said, that's totally fine. But anyway, I'm rambling again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You can find me on social media. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Goodreads and Letterboxd, where I write reviews that are probably more coherent than the one you just heard right now. You can also find me on Instagram and Blue Sky. I don't use Blue Sky very much, but I am starting to use Blue Sky a lot more. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. What do you guys think about the topic of escapism, and what do you think about the topic of what reading should be, or what you guys look for when you read, even though I kind of already made a video talking about that. And I guess I should ask, what do you guys think about escapism? What do you guys think when it comes to that? And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it, and hopefully I won't get too many angry comments, because I could definitely see that happening with this video. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I've been Britton. See you guys later. Bye-bye.